The best of money matters. Right Business.
Welcome to The Right Business, where we dive deep into the stories of trailblazers who dare to disrupt the status quo, find the gap in the market to find the right business. Hello, I'm Hongbin Jeong. Now, buying or selling a motorbike in Southeast Asia has often been a frustrating experience, often marked by unreliable listings, lack of transparency, and a whole lot of paperwork. Especially in the pre-owned space, trust and convenience have been hard to come by. iMotorbike is changing that. As a full-service platform, it offers everything from detailed inspections and instant payments to financing, insurance, and even name transfers, which are all designed to make the process safer, faster, and completely hassle-free. And to find out how they're transforming the motorbike market across Southeast Asia, joining us today is Gil Carmo, who is the co-founder and CEO of iMotorbike. Hi, Gil. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining me in the studio today.
Thank you so much for having us.
All right. Well, Gil, we read that iMotorbike was born out of a need to fix a fragmented, time-consuming, and often unreliable process of buying and selling pre-owned motorcycles in Southeast Asia. Just offline, we were talking, I was asking you if you rode yourself, and you said you did. Did this come out from your personal experience where you wanted to buy or sell a pre-owned motorbike?
Definitely. Buying or selling a pre-owned motorcycle, I think globally is a bit of a headache. Mm-hmm. You go through a lot of hassle, and definitely I landed in Ho Chi Minh back then when I first came to Asia, and I did have a way to move around, but I wanted a motorcycle, and obviously the congestion in Ho Chi Minh is quite notable. Yeah. So I tried to research online a place where I could actually source out a bike for myself, and there was none. And then I made research on market numbers, Southeast Asia as a whole numbers, and there was just absolutely no digitalization of the transaction or support. And that's kind of how the idea came about, yeah.
Okay. So now you've built iMotorbike into Southeast Asia's leading e-commerce platform for pre-owned motorcycles with features like a 170-point inspection, money-back guarantees, and full-service offerings from financing to insurance. But I got to ask you, why pre-owned motorcycles?
You know, there's loads of players doing the new bike. Mm-hmm. The bikes come out of the factory, they get into the floor at the dealership, and off they go. I think that's pretty standard. Larger market is definitely the pre-owned. It's something that is very common. Not everybody can afford a new vehicle. There's all sort of different benefits on the pre-owned as well. The circular economy, you're reaching to larger pools of people. You're guaranteeing that you're efficient in the whole ecosystem. So I think we're very passionate about the pre-owned side of the world, and there was no one taking care of it.
Makes sense. So walk us through what a typical user journey looks like on iMotorbike, whether someone's buying, selling, or even trading in a bike.
You would hear from us online in all walks of life, of platforms and systems, and you would land in our platform. You would research the vehicle that you like. Eventually, you have one for sale, so you could book an inspection, come to the many points where we purchase bikes from, and we do the inspection. We give you money on the spot for that inspection, name change, everything done on our roof. With that money in your pocket, then you can book a test drive as well over to our website, or if you're in one of our flagship showrooms, you can go straight to the floor where the bikes are showed, get your name change, your loan application, your insurance, and all done in one spot as well.
Okay, so you've emphasized removing pain points like trust, transparency, and paperwork, which is always a hassle, right? How does your platform address these challenges?
I think it's down to walking the talk. It's not that there's no complexity to the pre-owned market. I think any pre-owned market globally, any industry has its challenges. And the assurance that we give is that we're going to be there if there is a challenge. So that's when the 6-day return policy, you arrive home, your partner says, why the hell you bought a bike? You can just change mine. Okay. And we're going to be there for you. Or it's just, the bike is just too fast for you, or too bulky, or too small, whatever it is for your needs. So you're going to be there to support all of that. So your insurer is hassle-free when you're buying a motorcycle, in the sense that you take the bike knowing that we're going to be there for you. And then the 6 days return, and if you really, you're in love with the product, you're really enjoying, you bought what you wanted, then you have another 6 months ahead where if you have an engine, gearbox, or ECU problem, which is the core essence of any vehicle, specifically for a motorcycle, we're going to be there for you too, warranty covered. And you can even further extend 12, 24 months this warranty for the product.
Okay.
To selected products.
I guess that offering of, a 6-month warranty and a 6-day return policy kind of eases the minds of some buyers, because when it comes to pre-owned bikes and you buy it, sometimes the sellers, they might be a little sketchy, right? Sometimes the engines would have problems and you won't even realize it once you bought it. So was there, a moment where you decided, hey, I should have this 6-day return policy or 6-month warranty?
I think integrity, values, and honor are something that I was brought up with since very young. In business, sometimes people end up forgetting those. I'm not going to name what you named, but I believe everybody knows the word lemon when it comes to vehicles. And that means you're buying something that the kilometers might have been changed. The mechanical parts or electrical parts might have been modified. There's no historical, throughout Southeast Asia, there's no historical value for most vehicles that are traded. And it gets really worrying because if you're buying a motorcycle like most of the population, 80+% of the population of Southeast Asia does, due to lack of public transportation to go to work, to take their kids to school, to do their errands, basically, in essence, it's the public transport that sustains backbone economies of all this market. And you're buying something that you don't trust at all. And the level of capital that you're putting to it is an estimate of 7 salaries of a year of an average Southeast Asian person due to the GDP per capita calculation. It's a pretty heavy decision making. So for us, there's no rocket science. It's a very complex business operating in the pre-owned space. In a sense, there's loads of components in the motorcycle that you need to look after. And that's why we do the 170 points of inspection. We do our in-house refurbishment. So all of this is done through our own payroll, our own staff. We don't outsource any of this bit. And we guarantee that we get as close as possible to assurance that, the bike is in great condition, in safe condition. We tell our mechanics that, your grandmother should be able to ride this bike safely. And fact of the matter is we're there to walk the talk later on with the warranties. And I think these policies are just a reinforcement of how much we want to ensure every single person that we're serving them with excellence, as one should, as I wish I was at every service that I attend.
Well, do you think this warranty period and this return policy is kind of what sets you apart from other platforms that are selling pre-owned motorcycles, or is there any other factors you believe that sets you apart from, others in the market?
I can't comment on other people's business, but what I can assure is when you touch anything iMotorbike related, we're going to be there either to support you on the transaction of selling with hassle-free, right? Guaranteed, we give you money as fast as possible to your bank account. Many times is a need of you getting the capital for some other reasons.
Right.
And that's very important for us, is to assure that money's in your pocket. We're going to assure that when we're selling you a bike, we're going to do everything for you to have the brightest experience, to the point of delivering to your home. Obviously, all this, is part of what we can do. Arranging the financing, taking care of the insurance, the renewal of your insurance the following year. We're just about serving with excellence. About the other businesses, I really can't pronounce myself.
Right. But definitely, having just touch points from inspections to deliveries, you guys are doing a lot here. I'm wondering, what has been the feedback like so far? How have the users, talked about or thanked you in a way? Is there any stories that kind of you still remember?
The funny part is we started iMotorbike as a classified platform in 2016, and we tried really hard to make that business work, and we thought we were doing great, but we couldn't monetize. So that took about 4 years trying every single angle. Obviously, Facebook was for free. Loads of other platforms were for free, the listing. And then we thought to ourselves, okay, let's try to trade. And we start trading, but it was not a purpose first. It was like trying a different model.
Right.
The purpose was kind of, keeping my word with my shareholders, with my team, that we could make this work in this super huge motorcycle market that no one was touching. And the reality is we started trading, and we saw the depth of purpose and need of what we were doing, exactly because there's so many lemons being sold. Actually, I would argue before us, probably maybe 8, 9 out of 10 pre-owned bikes traded were lemons.
Wow, really?
Right? I don't have, there's no statistics for this, obviously, but, and I think by doing this, we start seeing so much gratitude by every single customer that we interact with them, because, we just put a smile on their face thinking that, okay, actually I can just enjoy the part of choosing a bike that I really, really like without questioning, if I'm getting somehow in a trap, and assuring that even being a pre-owned that may have an issue here and there, you guys are going to be here for us.
Right.
So that shaves so much pain of the level of capital weight that all these households are taking, which is about, again, 85% of all households in Southeast Asia.
Amazing. Well, then how do you respond to, maybe a seller comes to you and he wants to sell the bike, but is not very truthful in, some of the faulty areas of the bike? How do you respond to them?
We obviously have faced those. We train a lot our stuff. We have loads of systems of catching traps. Okay. There's obviously, I would argue, 8 out of 10 people in the world are good and with good heart and good intention, but there's always those. Our systems are made in a way that we will capture that. We'll be confident to say we capture great majority of it right before we even park any money in the pocket of this seller. But then if we do end up buying ourselves a lemon, which, it's below probably 0.5% of whatever we have bought to date, and more than 15,000 transactions we've done, we have very, very solid mechanic team that ensures the quality of processing all of that and getting it back to quality.
Okay. Yeah. So your team that does, the paperwork and the mechanics, are they all in-house?
Everything in-house.
Oh, amazing. Well, we also noticed that iMotorbike recently closed a $13.5 million Series A round led by Headline and several regional VCs. Congratulations on this achievement. Well, tell us about this new funding and what it means for your expansion and product plans, and what role do you want iMotorbike to play in an evolving industry in Southeast Asia?
We're obviously very grateful for the set of investors. We have stellar investors in our cap table. I think the best one could ask for in a Series A level. I don't know the exact conversion for SGD, but appreciate that. We're obviously just making the magic of what we've built and the system that we built multiplied by multi-different geographies. So what we do is no real rocket science, even though it's very complex in the operation itself. But so we are expanding. So we are now in JB, opening a new facility very soon. In Penang as well. We just started investing in Hanoi as well. So we are already in Ho Chi Minh. We're looking actively in Taiwan to Taipei. And, replicating the excellence of service quality, hassle-free, buy or sell your motorcycle to us, and ensuring that we keep our head down, just doing what we do the